Guys, welcome Jihoz to the stream. He's in a Tesla. He's with his high school mates, cruising around, multitasking. I love it. I love it. First off, how are you? How's your day? What are you up to? Just cruising?
Yeah, having a good time, man. Thanks for the invite. I've been watching some of your streams, and you're doing an amazing job. Welcome to the community. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be like sort of like an AMA/podcast. I know you've done heaps of these before, so I thought I would have a go at attempting to do your intro for you, something slightly different. I don't know much about you. We've actually never met, so this is the first time meeting face-to-face via a Zoom call. But if I get anything wrong, please let me know, and you can fix anything that I say. So here we go, guys.
Man, making my life easy for me.
So guys, this is Jihoz_Axie on Twitter. He's originally from New York City, I believe. He studied military and economic history back in the day. I don't know if he's still studying it. His dad was a insect/fossil collector. That's probably my guess why he's a big fan of the NFT space. He also played a lot of World of Warcraft. So did I myself. I'm a big fan of World of Warcraft. I played it for many, many years. And as follows, his crypto journey was in 2011. He found out about crypto, probably didn't do too much back then. And then a friend of his wanted to join a crypto fund in 2013, which I'm unknown to see if he did or didn't there. But I know he dabbled in around 2016/17, where he said he bought a little bit of Ethereum. And that's about the time when CryptoKitties was around. Now, I think that got him a little bit excited about the space. He can answer this for you, obviously. And then Trung, one of the co-founders of Axie Infinity, sort of got the ball rolling and pulled the trigger. So he did like any other man would do. He broke up with his girlfriend, gave his dog to his parents, and started Axie Infinity. And I don't know if he went off to Vietnam or not there. I'll have to confirm. And he something recently is he did get married about a year ago from today in Korea. And now today in 2021, we are here. Jihoz, is that correct? Am I close? Is there obviously a lot missing?
That was surreal, man. Like I think you understand me quite well. Like, how did you find that all out? That's
I just researched.
Yeah, I moved to Vietnam like that May of 2018 to Vietnam. Yeah, gave my dog away, broke up with my girlfriend as you mentioned, and kind of took this leap of faith. So yeah, man, everything there is pretty spot on. Thank you.
Yeah, nice. So the way I thought we would do it is just sort of like an AMA. What I did was I got all the questions from the community and just sort of put them into one. And I thought if I just ask you the questions, you can answer them if you're allowed to or not. These are just the questions that community want answer to. These are the main ones. And I thought that would be the best way to go about it.
Sure, man. This sounds like a plan to me.
Cool. So first off, guys, congratulations, because we have some numbers to go through. They have nearly 11 million average monthly players, currently 700,000 daily active users. This number fluctuates. These could be old numbers, but it's pretty current from what I've done for my research. There is 120,000 people playing right this very second on Axie Infinity. In the last 30 days, they did $815 million in sales with 300,000 buyers and 1.8 million transactions just to kick it off. So that just shows you guys how big Axie Infinity has gotten over the last couple of years. So the first question from the community is Axie Infinity everything you wanted it to be and where it's at from 2 to 3 years ago when you first started?
Yeah, obviously, if we knew that we would get this far this quickly 2 to 3 years ago, we would have been it would have been mind-boggling. So yeah, we're just delighted at how far we've come. The progress has been pretty amazing, right? We've gone like when I found Axie, it was 10 people on a Discord looking at these bobbing blobs, right? So it's like to think that we've come from that to something with millions of users and this full-blown movement. It's amazing. That said, right, like we still have a lot of work to do. I would say we're maybe 15% of the way where we're maybe 15% of where we want to be. We need to constantly keep improving the product. We can't get complacent. We can't get lazy. And yeah, I also, right, like growth creates a lot of problems, right? Like we need to now deal with a lot of things that we never had to face before. We need to stay tight-knit. We need to make sure that everybody is in it for the right reasons as we scale. So yeah, it's anyway, so yeah, hopefully that answers.
Yeah, no, I do very much so. And that brings me to the next one, Liz. Are you enjoying season 18? Like right now, do you like? What are the pros and cons that you've obviously the changes for PvP to PvE? What are your thoughts on the overall season 18 as we're pretty much halfway through now?
I think season 18 is a new high water mark for the competitive scene. I'm seeing a lot of really amazing play. I think people are putting a lot of effort into trying out new teams, new strategies. You know, I see a lot of scholarships to upgrading their arsenal, their equipment for the scholars. It's been amazing, right? Obviously, also we have the return of the competitive scene with some tournaments starting to happen now. So it's all really good stuff. You know, I think I would like to see. You know, you see some stuff that's a little bit like, you know, kind of maybe overused, a little bit cheesy or spammed, like double aqua teams, maybe Terminators, right? So this is something that I'm looking at. But yeah, I think overall it's been amazing, and I think what we are seeing is people are really starting to take their PvP game seriously, trying to improve, trying to get better. And yeah, I think the economic incentives, right, of basically allowing people, incentivizing people to play at their true level, I think that's really working. And so yeah, I think it's been mostly good things so far.
Yeah, I literally watched the one of the tournaments yesterday. I think it's going on over the weekend, and there is other ones. It got me hella excited about the space, and unfortunately, I did miss out because I believe you guys were doing a tournament thing a couple weeks / months ago to apply for it. So people are asking from the community, will there be any LAN events? Like, will there be any tournaments where, obviously, once COVID lifts, like a similar style to like those big arena Fortnite things? Obviously, could be many years down the line, but is that something you're thinking about doing, some sort of in-person tournaments?
I think that's going to be really exciting, right? Like, I think that digital, right? Like, we can make these digital connections, but I think they're really made more significant when we can turn that into offline meet space interactions. So yeah, I'm super excited to, you know, have hopefully some big Axies tournaments where, you know, we fly people in maybe and do some big. You there?
Yeah, you got you? Yeah, just a little bit fuzzy. I think I got the most of that. You are looking forward to doing some in-person events, but just when the time is right.
Yeah. So maybe, right, like maybe over the coming years. It really depends. Also, the world, right, is kind of shut down. It's locked. Travel is quite difficult. So, but yeah, I think that's definitely something that we hope to facilitate.
Okay, yeah, okay. Now let's get into the breeding and the marketplace side of things here. Some of the community members wants to know, they're obviously concerned about SLP prices and all of that sort of stuff, I guess, in the short term. But the breeding side of things, you did mention about SLP changing and the AXS token, the cost of it. Is there any insights there that you can share with us? Are you happy with it? What is the data showing you? Is there any chance of playing with this?
Yeah, definitely. So right now it's looking like, right, there's definitely more SLP being minted per day than is being consumed by breeding. But keep in mind that we have a very ambitious roadmap, and if we if we execute on that roadmap, we're going to need lots of Axies out there to basically facilitate this growth, right? So for every million users that we want, we actually need around 3 billion SLP in the ecosystem to be able to fuel that growth. So I'm not seeing it at really alarming or concerning levels right now. SLP at 14 cents, I think, is still like fine, right? It's still you know, nice living for many of our players. And yeah, I think like a lot of the player base, right, they went through 4 or 5 months of kind of, right, like an unprecedented economic boom in the economy. It's not always going to be like that, right? This is a real digital economy. There are going to be, like, you know, fluctuations, just like any emerging market nation. So yeah, I think it's a good learning experience for the new players that, you know, it's not, SLP price isn't necessarily designed to go up all the time. There are going to be fluctuations. It's more like a commodity, right? Like something like wood or heating oil, something like that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. There you go. For the SLP, guys, it's not something that goes straight up. Also, you got to think more long term instead of the short term here, and what's best for the roadmap and the longevity of Axie Infinity. This is a personal question of mine. I've just wanted to know. You do buy Axies with Ethereum at the moment. I was just wondering, would you ever consider a stable coin in the ecosystem?
Yeah, definitely. So we're working on Project X right now, the Ronin Dex. So we're looking to build up liquidity for the different resources and tokens within our ecosystem. That might include a stablecoin. Getting stablecoin liquidity on Ronin is kind of important first before we start incorporating that into the marketplace. There's also different ways that we could do that, right? You could allow people to list their Axies in a stable asset, or you could basically make it so that they list in ETH, but it's fluctuating based on some kind of stablecoin oracle, right? So there are different also ways to implement that. But yeah, I think that it is a little bit dicey or tricky in the long run if everything on your marketplace is just priced in ETH.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're going to do some experiments around that. Also, yeah, obviously listen to the community and see what they have to say. Also, maybe I think one of the best routes is just to be flexible, let people list in what they want and accept what they want, as long as there's sufficient liquidity on the chain.
Yeah, great answer. I love that because I cannot wait. Speaking of the Ronin Dex, how is that going? How's it looking? Obviously, everyone is waiting patiently for that. Is any, obviously, time frames, you'd be harassed all the time about time frames and SLP prices, but how's it looking? What's sort of the rough estimate of when it comes out? And are you excited? Yeah, give us your thoughts on the Ronin Dex.
So yeah, I mean, I don't like to talk about ETAs. I like to talk in terms of pipeline, right? So it's like Axie staking and the Ronin Dex. Those are what are at the top of the pipeline right now. So yeah, I'm getting super excited about it. There's a lot of progress. I think that it's going to be akin to the effect that we saw when we had Ronin. It's basically just getting rid of a lot of the friction in the ecosystem. What we've seen is that, yeah, when you reduce friction, you deliver benefits to users, you grow faster. It's great for the economy, great for everyone. And people have more fun too.
Yeah, so basically soon is the best we got there, chat, which is fair enough. You can't really do dates. You can't really do dates. It's crypto, as you can see. It's because if you don't hit the date, then everyone gets crying and up in arms about it. But I'm sure he's been asked a million times about it as well.
It's a lesson we learned in the early days. Like, you give a specific date, you're gonna have to move it. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm with one of the project with Luna and Terra. They said Anchor was coming out in February, ended up coming out, back in November. It was coming out in March. Everyone cries about it. It's just, it comes out when it's ready. You don't want to bring out something that's not ready.
Anchor is a really innovative protocol. I actually did that thing. That's a hard product to get right. So it's like, yeah, they shouldn't have given a date for it. Anyway,
yeah,
so yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Okay, now I went through your tweets recently just because the community yells at me and tells me to, which is a good thing. You're looking at investing in content creators. Where do you see content creation? Do you want to see more scholarships? I see something about a magazine that you like the idea of. What are your thoughts on the content creation space? Like, what are you looking out for? What gets you most excited about it?
Yeah, man. I mean, the creator economy is rising. So content creators are so important to what we're doing. We want to make sure that every Axie content creator feels like it is rewarding and fun. And yeah, if you have a lot of followers and a lot of subscribers, you should be able to, benefit monetarily from being an amazing creator. We don't want people to be in situations where they build up this huge Axie-based following and then have to make some moral I don't know, like some bad moral choices where they might want to have to cash in by shilling something that might not be a good project, right? So basically, that's kind of the way that I'm thinking of it, right? I want to retain our content creators, make sure that they're having an awesome time, awesome experience in our ecosystem, and make it so that they don't have to make any weird decisions down the line. So those are my goals. In terms of how I'm going to accomplish that, or how we're going to accomplish that, I'm still looking at different frameworks. There's a lot of design space, right? Like you could do grants, you could do sponsorships, you could even start our own internal talent agency. I was just talking to my friends about that as well. So yeah, okay. I'm still exploring, taking notes, getting feedback from the community. So.
In other words, chat, if you're on Instagram, he doesn't want you to be promoting teeth whitening or trashy things that aren't really sustainable and just for a monetary thing. It has to be a purpose behind it, which is good to see, which I see all over Instagram. People selling percentage discounts and whatnot. We're trying to go a different route and support the content creators to provide you guys good content and some meaningful content as well. I hear you have 40 Mystic Axies. First of all, will you ever sell them? Will you ever sell them? And one, can I buy one off you?
Yeah, I have some mystics from the early days. I love them. To me, they're not about the money. It's about the collectible. So, yeah. If you want, like, we can talk about it offline.
Yeah.
We can maybe strike a deal.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll see what we can do, chat. We'll see if we can get a Mystic off Jihoz. Okay, so obviously we went through season 18. We have another season coming up, which will be season 19. Is there any new cards or class? Obviously, there's more important things with the decks and things coming out, but is there any new classes or cards coming out for the next season or soon? And will the certain cards be able to be adjusted or balanced, so on and so forth in that space? If you could give an insight there.
I'm thinking about doing some balancing for season 19, but yeah, we wouldn't be releasing new cards yet. That's kind of a future mechanic.
Okay, so chat, if you've got a Termi or an Aqua, look out for season 19.
Not necessarily, but yeah.
There might be a bit of a rebalance there. In general of the crypto space, is there any projects that you're excited about other than Axie Infinity that you'd like?
I was just checking out this Loop project, so take a look at that. It's interesting because there's a lot to learn from some of these upstart projects that are experimenting with new ways of building communities. So that's the thing that I was excited about, this week. Obviously, it's not like financial advice or anything to do anything, but yeah, I think that's an interesting concept. So.
Okay, nice. We're going to smash out the roadmap here. Obviously, we know Arena V2's coming up. We know staking's not far away. Obviously, land as well. Just your oversight on the roadmap, which is obviously no set dates. Can you give some insight on the land, staking, and Arena V2? We know it's not priority right now, but it is in the future, so people have something to look forward to. Just a bit of a breakdown there.
Yeah, I think like Battle V2. So staking, yes, is near the top of the pipeline, and then I think Battle's V2. Land is a little bit maybe further off than V2, so that's the way that we're looking at it. We're onboarding a lot of awesome game designers as well, which I'm super excited about. People who have like worked on some of the best games of all time. So.
Okay, nice. So basically, guys, chat, staking is coming very soon. Same with the decks. That's not far away. Then Arena V2, and then you're looking at land further down the line. Just so you guys got a bit of a...
That's the way that I'm visualizing it right now.
Yeah, so that's perfect. And then people are wondering merch. Is there a merch store? Can someone start a merch store? What's the legality there? What are your thoughts there? I would love to have a plush Axie toy behind me.
Yeah, so the idea is, right, if you own an Axie, you're able to we have a license to basically use it to generate up to $10,000 in like merch sales. Okay. That's something that we may alter or adjust in the future, but that's how it is right now. I think it's been okay. I would love to see the community do a lot of creative stuff there. Yeah, okay. But we are working on Sky Mavis merch store as well. So yeah, we're excited. We wanted to do it the right way though. So I think we need to be careful. It needs to be awesome. So those are our requirements.
Okay, guys, if you want merch, it seems to be also not far away. So that's pretty exciting. Another question here is, when will you release Axie Infinity game on iOS? I don't know if it is or not, but that is one of the questions.
Yeah, basically the problem is we needed to increase the limit on test flight. So yeah, we're working on that. Hopefully we'll be able to release that, get that limit increased. Otherwise, yeah, I think we're trying to go for like maybe an entire Google Play App Store release maybe sometime next year with Battles V2. So
okay.
That's the way that I'm looking at that. Yeah.
So sometime next year, chat, for the basically iOS directly from the App Store. Obviously, a lot of legality in that, so you'll have to wait and see. On top of that, we only have a couple more questions left. You seem like you're about to go, I think maybe skydiving, or is this inaccurate? Are you just chilling out to have lunch or something?
No skydiving, but yeah, weekend away with my homies.
Oh, I like it. You guys are going to have a blast. So the last pretty much couple of questions is, the Philippines obviously is the major people who are playing, whether it's via scholarship or anything. Tax issues. Can you give an insight on that? I don't know much personally about it. Everywhere has to pay tax, but it seems to be a popular topic right now.
Yeah, I mean, so we just put out a statement, right? Like, if your government taxes game income from games and collectibles and stuff like that, yeah, you should try and figure out how to pay the taxes. That's our stance. We can't give you like tax advice and financial advice or anything like that. But yeah, if your government wants you to pay taxes on the money that you earn playing Axie, then that's something that you should probably do. We advise you to do that.
Yeah, guys, if you guys, everyone has to pay tax. So just to sum the taxing up, guys, just make sure you work with the government, find out your rules in your area, and make sure you're paying your tax. It is just a requirement. It isn't Axie Infinity's responsibility here. It is your own. If you just make sure you are paying your tax. That is, so you don't want to get in trouble here. But Axie Infinity will not be liable, and you can't expect them to do everything for you, chat. A random question, left field. Favorite book? I don't read books. I do everything via video. But do you have a favorite book?
It's a good question. I used to really like The Great Gatsby when I was in high school.
Oh, great movie too.
But what else? Maybe something a little bit more unique. The Mystery of Capital by Hernando de Soto. It's basically talking about how property rights are actually the most important thing for creating a functioning economy. So a lot of people they think in terms of like capitalism versus socialism, but actually it's like what we need to be thinking about is like, okay, how deep and how guaranteed are the property rights within your system? So that's when we think about Axie, like that's one of our core principles is like you should be able to have full property rights, full ownership of your assets. You own your time, so your time is valuable, and you should be able to own the game, right? So kind of all of these principles of ownership and empowerment, they actually stem from this view of digital property rights, if that makes sense. And a lot of that for me, like the reason that NFTs made sense to me was because I had read that book when I was, a kid.
Okay. The final 3 questions we have, and then we'll let you go. You're a busy man. Hopefully you enjoy your weekend away. I'm actually quite jealous. We are in lockdown in Melbourne. But the final 3 questions are, where do you see Axie Infinity from 5 years to basically, let me redo this. Where do you see Axie Infinity 5 years from now? What's your vision?
Yeah, I think, hopefully we have lots of amazing content. So Sky Mavis is still churning out Axie content, but maybe we have other studios, maybe we have the community involved. I think the economy is going to be huge. It's going to be gigantic. We're going to see, I think like part of the mystery and part of the appeal is that, I don't think that we're really even able to fathom what's going to happen, once we start hitting 10 million users, 20 million users, hopefully numbers that are much more than that. So, but yeah, I think we will start to see, I think that people will also have like Axie meetup groups and even Axie like towns in real life. People will want to live in villages of people who play Axie. So I think we'll start to invade like the physical world as well.
Oh, I love it. It gives me goosebumps, chat. It gives me goosebumps. I like it. That brings me to the second final question is the rapid growth recently of Axie Infinity. It went crazy. Obviously, the server has absolutely massive strain. What do you guys have planned or in place for the next sort of adoption phase with the scaling issues that most projects have? Do you have something to sort of sustain or battle it instead of what happened last time, or?
Yeah, I mean, so we're working on a new server as well, and I think that's something that we learned our lesson, and we're always going to be, thinking ahead to try and make sure that we have room to be able to hit like these growth goals. So I think so. We now have people dedicated internally to basically always constantly scaling our server capacity.
Okay, and the final question is, besides Trezor or any of the hardware devices, a lot of the Filipinos or anyone playing Axie Infinity are worried about security. Any reassurance there, or what? Basically, adding any extra protection to the Ronin wallet? If you could just give an overview of that to keep their minds at ease.
Yeah. So basically, right. So right now, like I understand that. Yeah. So Trezor is like the safest way to do it with the hardware wallet. Some people have asked to add 2FA, but the thing is that's actually impossible because someone can always, if they have the private key, they can interact with it directly through the smart contract to send your assets away. So because Ronin is a real blockchain, and we do not have custody of the assets, we cannot basically implement 2FA. But yeah, it's kind of like maybe that aspect is maybe a sacrifice that we have to make, because in the name of like not owning your assets, right? Not basically allowing people to really be when you own something yourself, right? That means that you can lose it if you're not careful. So please, a lot of people have been downloading fake Ronin wallets and getting scammed, entering their seed phrases in different sites. Please be really careful. Never talk to strangers. In fact, just close your DMs. That's what I do as well. Like people will never be DMing you stuff. Always use the Axie Infinity, our official support, which is support.axieinfinity.com. You should never have to respond to DMs from anyone in your Discord, in our Discord, unless, obviously you can talk to your friends, but even be careful about your online friends as well, because sometimes people could be trying to trick you, unfortunately.
Perfect. That was the final question. The last thing we wanted to do, it's up to you. You did like the tweet on Twitter. You have a lot of power on Twitter, which is very, very entertaining. But do you want to pick a scholar in the chat? It's pretty much, I don't know if you can see the chat on your phone, but the way we do is we're just going to give out a scholarship. If you want to pick a random name in the chat, do you feel comfortable doing this? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I can't see the chat right now.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately. Maybe I'm going to pick a number, and somehow that can correspond to someone in the chat.
Okay, so between
no,
zero...
I'm gonna pick I'm gonna pick A. So I'm gonna pick a letter, and then the first person to have that a name with that letter is gonna win.
Okay, done. So guys, start typing in the chat right now and yell out a letter in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go for it.
Z.
Z. Okay, the first person with the name starting with Z. I'll have a, there it is there. Z_Axies. He's actually gifted a sub in the chat. You have just got a scholarship from Jihoz. Congratulations. Well played. Thank you for coming on. Enjoy your weekend. I'll make sure we do this again soon in the future when we have more stuff to release. We know you're a busy guy, but chat, make sure you say thank you to Jihoz. Make sure you follow him on all his social media. He is the co-founder of Axie Infinity. Sir, thank you so much, and it was good to finally meet you, and I will speak to you soon.
Thanks for the invite, man. Sorry I was traveling a little bit.
No dramas, no dramas.
Traffic. Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, my man.
Love. Bye.
Bye.